We're back with our GMA cover story. Donald Trump's nephew, Fred Trump III, he's out with a memoir, All in the Family, the Trumps and How He Got This Way. Aaron Katursky spoke with him about it. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, George. The son of former President Trump's late older brother says he wrote this book in part to advocate for people with severe developmental disabilities like his adult son, William. He says this latest Trump family tell-all is no political hit job, but the full-on truth about his uncle and Republican nominee. It says the Trumps and how we got this way. What way? What's the Trump way?
Complex and sometimes cruel. And within every family, people know this, families are complicated. Every family has their crazy uncle. My Uncle Donald is atomic crazy. And he has put his mark on the family history.
Atomic crazy?
Yes.
What's that mean?
Means he does things that, even as much as I know him, when he's out there now, I sort of shudder and say, is this the same guy I knew? What's making him change? What got him this way? But that all being said, I've always had a good relationship, but he's done really horrific things to me, which some people will say, how could you still want to have a relationship with him? He's my uncle. He's family, and that means a lot.
After his uncle was elected president, Fred Trump says he saw an opportunity to advocate for the disabled.
I was in the Oval Office 12 times and that was our mission, to advocate for people with complex disabilities. It culminated in May of 2020 in the Oval Office. Donald was there, and he was very gracious. Several other folks were there, including the group that we brought down. We dispersed. I was asked to go back and see Donald. He greeted me with his familiar, "Hey pal, how's it going?" We sat down for a bit, and he just came out with, these people, all the expenses, they should just die. He's talking about human beings who have complex issues, and the first thing he could say was, they should just die.
Fred claims this wasn't isolated, describing a phone call to alert his uncle the medical fund set up by the family for his son William was running low, a fund he says the former president consistently replenished.
A couple of years ago, I called him. I said, Donald, the fund's running out. And without hesitation, he said, your son doesn't recognize you. Let him die and move to Florida.
Were you surprised?
That's a great question. My response was, no, Donald, he does recognize me, and said, I'll thanks, and hung up. Was I surprised? I don't think you could hear something like that and not be surprised. But that is what he has become. It's sad.
There's a chapter that you write about called the race card. What's that about?
I was about 10 years old, and I was at my grandparents' house, like I was a lot. And Donald, I could hear him screaming. And I went down to the driveway of my grandparents' house, and there was his white Eldorado convertible with 2 slashes, still remember it. And he had electrical tape, because the roof was black. And he used the N-word twice, just saying who he thought probably had done this.
You were 10 years old when these comments were allegedly uttered.
Right.
You sure you remember him that way?
Oh, absolutely.
He says he doesn't use the word.
Okay, he did twice that day.
You do write in the book about how people have labeled former President Trump a racist, and some people feel he is, some people say he's not, and you ask the question, is he a racist? You don't necessarily answer it.
Right.
Is he a racist?
He at times espouses things that people who I believe are racist espouses. That's the best I can answer that question.
Say more.
I don't believe he's a racist. I think that he uses people, whether they're black or they're whoever can help him, he will use them. And, call it racist or not, I don't believe in that. He uses them as props. And when he gets what he needs out of them, votes, he'll cast them aside.
In a statement, the Trump campaign said, "This is completely fabricated and total fake news of the highest order. It is appalling. A lie so blatantly disgusting can be printed in media. Anyone who knows President Trump knows he would never use such language, and false stories like this have been thoroughly debunked." Now, Fred Trump told us he's voting for Kamala Harris, but if his uncle wins, he would attend the inauguration if he's invited. All in the Family, the Trumps and how we got to be this way is out today, George.
Okay, Aaron, thanks very much.